Hi, I'm Sandy Zuniga, the founder of Colorado Springs Town Tidings. Be in the know on the go for all things Colorado Springs, delivered right to your inbox. Today, in our local business spotlight, I'm excited to welcome Heath Gay, the founder of Colorado Fan Club and accomplished author. Heath goes beyond typical Colorado guides by uncovering what he calls forgotten Colorado, the overlooked places and their stories that even lifelong residents might not even know. With 52,000 followers on his Facebook page, eagerly following his explorations, Heath shares these discoveries through history posts, his own books, his own hikes, and custom excursions. He's essentially become the curator of Colorado's best kept secrets, helping people experience our state's rich heritage in ways that standard tourism just can't match. Heath, welcome to the show. I'm fascinated by how you've built such a passionate following around Colorado stories. So let's dive into what drives the mission.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm delighted to be here and to talk about Colorado, since clearly I have a Colorado problem. And I really enjoy, I like the moniker curator of Colorado, but certainly the museums and other historical societies deserve that more than myself. But thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Well, I will deem you the curator of Colorado stories, and it's very approachable. So the museums might be a little bit, they've got their ways, but you make it very approachable. So
I appreciate that.
why Colorado? And what is making you so fascinated with all of the uncovered things that you find and share?
Yeah, so the interest about Colorado comes from the fact that I am from Colorado, born and raised, originally from Leadville. So shout out to the nation's highest incorporated city, which is not Alma, by the way. Just want to throw that out. Little drama there between the two cities in the town, well, city and town. And so, from an early age, I've just been exposed to Colorado, the outdoors and various experiences. And as I got older and really started to appreciate my surroundings more, rather than just kind of, I was alive in Colorado, but I wasn't living in Colorado. I was here and doing things, but I wasn't maximizing the experiences. And once I got to a place where that was important to me, it also became important to share what I was learning about Colorado, what I was doing in Colorado with other people so that they can maximize their time, energy, and experiences in this great state as well. And now we have the Colorado Fan Club.
Right. How did that come about?
Well, the fan club was born out of COVID, like so many things have been. Originally, I owned a company called Hiking University, higher education for hikers, where I would train hikers, mountain climbers, and we would go on excursions. And that was what I was doing pre-COVID. Once COVID hit and we were no longer able to meet in person, that kind of forced me to transition to look ahead. And I realized I don't just love hiking. To be clear, hiking still is life, but I love Colorado and all of the areas that I was visiting to hike or do other things. And again, I wanted to share those adventures. So in essence, what COVID gave me was an opportunity to pivot and transition to where I wasn't just focused on one area, hiking. I could now share everything that was going on in Colorado, including the history, the hiking, the people, the places, and so on.
Right. And then because Facebook was so readily available, you just decided to create a page on there.
That's exactly right. Hiking University was gone, and Colorado Fan Club was born on January 1st, 2022.
Okay. What was your, now I'm going to make you think. What was one of your first posts?
Uh, yeah, I don't,
Happy New Year.
yeah, probably a thank you, welcome to the Colorado Fan Club page. I'm sure it was something like that.
Right. Well, I'm sure you were excited and had tons of things in your head going, wow, I got this, I got this, I need to share this, and it's become a huge, like I said, over 52,000 followers, and they're engaged. Um, and what I kind of love about your posts is when you go hiking and when you go exploring, you're taking in the beauty, but you're also taking in, you're stopping and reading the signs, you're getting the information, and then you'll go back and research that history. So when you post, not only do you have that plaque, but you also have some more information. So that allows those of us who aren't there yet to know. And then whatever catches our eye, it's like, oh, he said this, so we can go this area or this hike or this trail. And that's pretty exciting to me. You do our homework first.
Well, you bring up a good point. I want people that are able to visit or experience the things that I am sharing to have a positive experience, but I also want the folks that can't do the things or visit the places to also feel as if they were there or they had the value of learning about it as if they were there so
Right.
that everyone can get something out of it, whether you're here or not, or able to visit or not.
Right. And depends on what touch point they come, because you have the Facebook page, but you also have your own books. And so if you're a reader, you can read and then feel like you're there because of the way you write and how it is. On Facebook and YouTube, you have information. Facebook has posts, but also you bring us in because you're showing us the videos of this is what letting us see through the lens of your eyes.
So I do try to use as many formats as possible, whether that's social media or a book that you can't even see in the screen there, so don't even worry about it. A book, or maybe you're more visual, so I'm getting more into the video aspect of things. So whether it's a visual in a book or a movie type situation, I want to reach whatever medium people are interested in.
Right, and how they best consume.
Hmm.
Yeah, I love that. So, okay, you started off with a hiking club. You did, now you have the Colorado Fan Club. And how did you become an author?
Well, it's an unconventional situation. A publisher reached out to me through Instagram messaging, and I really thought it was a joke and not a real situation. And in reality, after
Because that never
talking,
happens.
it really doesn't. I mean, not in my world. So, what ended up happening is I talked to some friends who had also been reached out and or were familiar with the company, and turns out that they're very legit. They're one of the top nonfiction historical publishers in the country. And I still was a little skeptical. So what I did was, instead of just a book proposal for one book, I figured, why not just do a book proposal for four books, an entire series? And oddly enough, or fortunately enough, my book proposal was accepted. And that is where the Forgotten Colorado series came from, was that first book proposal. And three of the four books are complete, and you can find those online or through coloradofanclub.com. And then I went ahead and did another book proposal for a whole nother series called the Most Significant Sites in the City series. And so now I'm on the hook for four books there. The Colorado Springs book came out this past April. That's the first of the four.
Right.
And that is certainly available anywhere you can buy books or through me personally if you want a signed copy.
Oh, that's
So,
great.
long story short, Instagram message that I did not believe. And here we are today, and I'm thankful for that odd opportunity.
Well, the other odd thing is you've got a ton of followers on Facebook, but not on Instagram. So for them to actually find you there instead of just Facebook, even though they're connected, I found that very interesting.
It is very interesting because I'm pretty certain at the time they found me, I had less than 200 followers.
Right. And so what goes on Facebook, does that automatically go on Instagram too?
It used to, but not so much anymore.
Okay.
I'm just trying to keep Facebook as the most thriving community and then really encouraging folks to find me on YouTube as well,
Right.
so that I can do more of the video tours and historical insights and things of that nature.
Yeah, I love that personal connection of you narrating and kind of showing us. And you have a lot of shorts on YouTube, I saw.
Uh, a couple hundred. So I am due to make more longer videos, which is definitely in the works and coming soon.
Of course. So getting back to your books, what made you decide to go through another series while you weren't yet finished with the first one?
Because I apparently do not like to sleep or sit still. So, I like to stay busy and I'm very, I don't see any of this as work. None of it. I'm so grateful and fortunate to be able to do this, and I, I, I just want to get so many things to others so that they can also experience and find that joy. If we're gonna be in the state anyway, whether we live here or we're visiting, why not maximize that time and enhance the experience? You're there anyway. And so
Right.
I want to get the information to folks so that it's digestible and not overwhelming, and just add a little bit of something to make it a little bit more memorable or get a little bit more out of it. And so
Right.
that drives me, just keeps me going.
Yeah, and like I said, you are not the typical, oh, here's your tourist guide and just follow this. You're getting deep into each area. And because you're a Colorado native and live in Colorado Springs, especially in our area, you're diving deeper than just the average, and that's helpful. I love watching your hikes. In fact, with the Colorado Springs Town Tidings, you are my go-to for Friday's recreation on hikes because I know most likely you're out there. You go further than the springs, which is great. So we just kind of coordinate what you'll laugh at this one. So when I think of you out there hiking and then excited to share, one song comes to mind. And I just heard it too just a little while ago. Any song. You're our John Denver here. And it's not because, and this is going to ruffle some feathers. I
Uh,
personally believe Annie's song really was not about his wife. I think it was about nature and his love of nature more
okay.
than anything. And so even though he's talking about this, I think when he's talking about the mountains and the water and everything else, it his senses are on that. So that's what it comes to mind when I think of you hiking. It's because you're taking it all in and you have such a love for it. And it's just, so that's what it is. In my opinion, your Annie song.
I definitely have a Colorado problem. And so yep.
Okay, so let's kind of talk about the a little bit of the books and all your research. I was wondering, what's the most shocking, forgotten Colorado story you've uncovered that kind of made you rethink maybe what you knew about the state?
So I could go all kinds of directions on that one. Certainly, there are a lot of misconceptions that I've run across that I had myself, but I'm going to go ahead and, since we're talking more about Colorado Springs and that audience, I'm going to bring it down to that area level because this is something that shocked me and I had no clue about
Okay.
until my 40s. So, just the other day. But and that is that, as much as the Pikes Peak region is all about mining and even coal, really, we are here because of tuberculosis.
Oh,
Uh,
right. Yeah.
the 1880s up until the 1940s, we are the city of sunshine. And that's because folks with tuberculosis came here for the sunshine, our clean water, fresh air, all of those wonderful things in the hopes of treating and surviving that horrific bacterial infection. And that is what sustained us. And, all of those decades, it wasn't what I had perceived because I'm from a mining family and background and the mountains. So tuberculosis was not even on my radar. So once it got on my radar, then it was, wow, I've got to learn everything I can about this tuberculosis and the Pikes Peak region situation.
Right. And I do know that you have a fascination with the tuberculosis huts. Where are they? All over the city and even in Manitou, just outside the city. And you've got plenty of pictures in there on the Colorado Fan Club Facebook page, and you give us some history, but even some that we may not know, you've got that eagle eye.
Uh, yes, I have been fortunate to find some obscure tuberculosis hut locations, and that's been wonderful. Just to kind of go back to that whole, you know, forgotten Colorado and misconception in the Pikes Peak region. When we think about certain neighborhoods like the Cragmore neighborhood, even the Old North End, those were born out of tuberculosis, and who would have thought that? A lot of our structures, such as the Union Printers Home or Mount St. Francis, these iconic institutions in our town, were born out of the tuberculosis time frame, and uh, so to kind of jump ahead or maybe stay here, that's just kind of that's one of my major focal points. And in terms of personal interests outside of the fan club per se is tuberculosis and tracking down as many huts as I can and visiting as many sites as I can, not just in the Springs, but Colorado itself was a tuberculosis haven. Glenwood Springs, you might have heard of Doc Holliday. I don't know. He might be
A little bit.
famous, but he was a tuberculosis sufferer
Oh,
who
I did
was
not know that.
seeking treatment, and others. So the whole state is full of tuberculosis sanatoriums and facilities.
So we had a lot of sick people here, you're trying to say.
Yeah, yeah, we may still, but yes, we do, and we have.
And so there are some of those huts that are they historical sites?
So some of them are not necessarily there so much in the Springs. You've got Mount St. Francis, which is a historical site, and they have one of the original tuberculosis huts that's actually been refurbished or restored. It has the original bed and other
Oh,
things
wow.
that you would normally see in there. And I will throw this out. Mount St. Francis has a walking tour on their property. You can pick up the pamphlet right by the tuberculosis hut, and you can tour the entire historic property.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
Penrose Hospital, I think it's called Common Spirit now downtown. They also have a restored tuberculosis hut with the original furnishings.
Really?
Other than that, the Pioneers Museum, would be a third spot to see a tuberculosis hut in great condition. The rest you're gonna typically find in someone's backyard
Right.
or
Well, I didn't
somewhere
know
else. Yeah.
I didn't know Penrose had one, and I've been to that hospital for different reasons, visiting, and I've never seen it. So I don't know where
Yeah.
it's tucked in now. I'm not due to be there anytime soon, but when
Yeah,
I
no.
am,
So it's
maybe.
it's in the back by Cascade Avenue,
Okay.
right back there, where the employee parking is basically.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
not where the public parking is, so
right.
we wouldn't just.
Exactly.
And I know you've taken some pictures of some of those other huts. Do you, do the owners, however you connect with them, if they see you, and I know you've talked with some, do they know what they are typically?
So yes, sometimes they do know, but sometimes they don't. It came with their property
Right.
because when antibiotics became available for tuberculosis in the 1940s, for example, Mount St. Francis had about 2,000 huts, and so
Wow.
they were auctioned off when they were
Oh,
no longer needed. So they were put in people's yards for sheds or other purposes. And as decades go on and people move,
right.
stories will get passed on, and then all of a sudden you have this cool looking hut in your backyard, but you don't know what its origin story is. And in reality, people were using it to try to survive tuberculosis decades earlier, maybe even 100 years earlier.
I wonder how they sanitized that before they sold it.
I,
If
you
they
know,
did,
I, I don't know, and that's a great question.
we
Yeah.
might be cultivating tuberculosis in these different places without knowing
Uh, yeah, the good thing is, thankfully, that's not the case. Yes. Yeah. But it's just if you can ever find some old pictures of Colorado Springs, Pikes Peak region and the tuberculosis sanatoriums, you'll see just huts covering the landscape.
Right, right. So are there typical signs that like when you drive by or something, that's a tuberculosis hut as opposed to just a cylindrical shed?
Yeah, usually it's going to be that top portion, the cylindrical roof, and if it still has the stovepipe that comes out of the top, then that's a dead giveaway, which many of them don't. But I look for the cone-shaped roof and then the stereotypical base design. And sometimes it works out, but there are gazebos that look really similar
True.
that have been made. So just
Yep.
kind of have to check it out as I go.
Right. Is any of that in one of your books about the tuberculosis or just on the fan club
So there's a whole
Facebook?
chapter in the Colorado Springs Most Significant Sites in the City book
Perfect.
that talks about tuberculosis, a little bit about the history in the Pikes Peak region, and then there are pictures of various huts
Right.
and sanatoriums that I have found. And I think some folks even familiar with tuberculosis in the Pikes Peak region might be surprised to learn about a couple of the homes
Oh,
that started off that way that are now private residences that you
right.
wouldn't have guessed.
Right. So to get the insider scoop, not on just that, but everything else, definitely the book is worth picking up for sure. So now with 52,000 followers watching your explorations on Facebook and, you know, coming in from everywhere else, do you ever keep certain discoveries secret? And if so, why? Why aren't you telling us?
I think it's important to distinguish between public and private. So if something is public, you could find it somewhere else, whether at a visitor center, chamber of commerce, online, all trails, wherever. If you can find it somewhere else, then I am going to share that location, that information, because and I've been known to say share gatekeeping is weak, sharing is caring. And when it comes to public places, um, the public should know about these places. And one thing I want to mention is even though sometimes people get upset when I share public places that people could find out about elsewhere, um, is the a lot of these places rely on tourist money or local money or funds coming in, whether it's a natural environment or a business, a restaurant. I mean, these places need visitors. So if it's a
Right.
public place and you can learn about it anywhere else, I'm going to share that. Now, if a particular location is private, and I can get pictures or videos from a public place, that is something I may share the pictures, the video, whatnot. But I may not share the exact location of that privately owned place. Another example might be when I've been invited to a historic site or a private location, um, when they ask me not to share any of that information, I'm going to honor that in that instance as well. So, for the most part, I would say I am sharing locations, I'm sharing all the information, but in a relatively few cases, I will hold back the location out of respect of the owners in that case, regardless of a shared location, unshared location, as human beings,
Right.
we need to promote leave no trace ethics,
Right.
leave places at least the same as you found it,
Right.
if not better. So, one of the things that gets commented every so often is, why are you sharing this information? It's gonna destroy or lead to trespassing and all.
Right.
You know, I'm, none of us are responsible for anyone else's actions.
True.
So if someone is going to do something they should not, that is on them. Withholding information from potentially thousands of individuals to get value from it, uh, just to protect the possibility that one person's going to do something they shouldn't, isn't a good enough reason not to share that information. People should be able to self-police. And I know I'm asking a lot, um, but I see more value in providing public information to the public than holding it back just because someone might do something. I think people are good more than
Yes.
bad. And I'm going to
Right.
stick with that until proven
That's
otherwise, I guess.
that's my story and I'm sticking to
That's
it.
it. Yeah. Yeah.
So with that, is there any particular location or something you shared that might come to mind that some comments might have been, why are you sharing that? Because I
Oh,
find that interesting.
yeah, every single time I post about Guffey Gorge and Paradise Cove,
Oh,
it's on every 100% of the time, somebody's gonna make a comment about you're ruining it. It's already overpopulated, overused. But the reality is, um, because people have been using it, they now have a patrolled area. It's very well managed. It's clean. There's established parking. There is no glass. There is no trash anymore, and that's what it was before. And so telling people not to come wasn't helpful because now with people coming, they have revenue coming in, they can patrol it and better manage it. So that's one area. And I'm just going to throw this out. Anytime I post obscure public lakes or reservoirs,
uh-huh.
the fisher folks
Uh,
come for me because why are you sharing my childhood fishing place. And, I didn't know that was your childhood fishing place. And also, you know, why is it your childhood fishing place and it can't be somebody else's childhood fishing place?
Right.
So, that that's kind of the where I'm coming from with that. Why am I able to experience and enjoy this and other people should not be able to? I think they should. And
Right.
that's what drives this mission.
Right. And so when you have some stuff that you don't share, is there an example that comes to mind on something that would kind of fall under that category?
Sure.
Without actually telling us the place, obviously.
Yeah, so I've been invited to a few historic sites and or properties by the actual owners, under the agreement that that was an experience for me, not to post about it, publish it, write about it, any of that. It was just, we want you to see this. We know you love it, and I am so thankful to those individuals that thought of me to, in some instances, brought me into their home
Oh, wow.
to show me a historic property, and I am always game for that as well. So if anybody's watching this and you have a unique or historic site, please invite me, and I'll invite you out to mine. We'll trade off.
Right. So what kind of a site might it, like, one example? Again, we're not saying who it,
Yeah,
where it is
sure.
or anything, but just in
Sure.
general,
So an
because I'm
example would
curious.
be, I was invited to visit an old coal ghost town.
Oh,
And another example would be invited into a historic train depot that was converted into a home
that's
that
interesting.
was able to tour, but again, um, honoring their wishes not
Right.
to disclose that.
Right, right. Yeah.
Sure.
Um, so if it's historic, why wouldn't it be public? Just out of curiosity.
Oh, in terms of why is it privately owned or
No,
why would it be open?
if it's basically a historic site or something of history,
Mhm.
then why is it not like publicly known? I guess if it's not an official historic site, but it's just history. But you're saying that some of these sites are then privately owned and then they don't want people, even though it's part of history.
That is correct. So I
That's where
would
I
say
was going.
quite a few historic properties, whether they're on the state registry or the national registry, many of our registered historic places are privately owned. And once they're privately owned, you can restrict access.
Really,
Now,
I didn't know that those things could be privately owned and,
they
even though
can.
they're on there.
Yeah, all kinds of nationally registered and state registered historic places privately owned, and some are operated as businesses, allowing the public in. Some are museums, some are, but quite a few are privately owned, especially homes that are on the registries will be. But there are quite a few buildings and um, properties per se that are on the registries, but they do restrict access.
So
With
if they're on the registry, and you may or may not know this, and say it's a home, and for some reason they were on the historic registry, do they have to keep it um, historically correct, or can they turn it into anything they want?
so the it's only a designation. So there's a
Okay.
misconception that if something is on the national register or the state register that nothing can be done with them, but in reality, you can demolish it if you want
Oh,
to.
okay.
There's no real protection behind that. Really, what that does is it gives you a designation that allows you to possibly tap into grants and additional funds and other resources
Ah,
for protecting that resource, but it doesn't require you to do anything. If you own it, you own it.
oh, okay. That's interesting because that's one of my misconceptions. So we got one of those. And I know there are plenty of posts you've made because you lived in Colorado Springs for so long. I love the posts when you go back in history and then here you are today. And sometimes you go to a plot of land that may not have anything or something else, but you've got the original picture of what was there from restaurants to establishments, and it really gives us a glimpse. And I love those side by sides.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite types of content is the then and now. And I guess one of the benefits of aging and living here in Colorado is that, I have, almost 4 decades of potential photos from my own background, also utilizing the wonderful resources we have at the library. So it's really quite fun to go find an old picture and then go take it modern day or find a postcard or things of that nature. It's so interesting to just see how time changes.
Right.
And the reality is the only constant is change. And
Correct.
it's really how do we deal with it?
Yeah.
And for me, the
And
way I deal with it is I document it.
right, right. And I'm just amazed that you have those pictures from your childhood. I mean, even cameras that I had back then, I don't know where the pictures are. So I'm just like, wow, how did we do that? And it's funny, you had a picture of you, I don't know, as a teenager, and then you now kind of in the same spot. And I don't know what fountain of youth you've got going on, other than a little bit of gray in your beard and having no beard back then. You don't age. What the heck is going on? Can I have some of
Well,
that?
Well, you can actually. So what a lot of folks don't know is that the Colorado Fan Club is really a passion project, more of a side quest in life that is turning out to be more of a primary quest as time goes on. But the reality is, this is year 30 for me in the health and fitness field. And so, on top of my passion for hiking and mountain climbing and being outdoors, well, the reality is genetics. That's probably it. But I think that just staying active really helps. Eating all the cinnamon rolls that I eat maybe takes a little bit of that away, but I appreciate the comment. I've just been fortunate to be around active environments.
Right. And I know one of your favorite thing is to experience some kind of culinary treat in any
Mhm.
area that you're at. And cinnamon rolls definitely are one of the big ones, but you will eat all kinds of things. And then you'll ask if anybody
Yeah.
has, what's the best whatever in, and
Mhm.
you give us a picture of what they actually have there, whether it's a rest stop, a
Mhm.
restaurant, any of that. You're like, okay, this is what they have here. And your hiking bag just makes me laugh. It's just like, wow, now I see where he's burning all of that off, and but you definitely love your sweets. And I'm a sweets person too, so
I do, and I'm just gonna blame it on my childhood. Every couple of months, I grew up in Old Colorado City, and we would walk down Colorado Avenue to a laundromat that's still there, by the way, by 31st Street. And then there was a Daylight Donuts down in the strip mall. And so I got to pick out my own donut every couple of months. And that was such a big treat because obviously we weren't the richest family if we're carrying trash bags to the laundromat down the
right.
street. But so that was so I think that's where it comes from, the just early exposure. And
Yeah.
now it's a problem. So that I'm going to share with everybody so they can watch it and contribute.
Your addiction.
Yep.
Well, like I said, I'm a big sweets person too. And I just love that you document. So if we're in the area or you're helping the other businesses kind of, hey, if you didn't know about them, and here's you go to the bakery and you always get this big box full of stuff.
I, I mean, I'm there. So I've got to make sure I have enough treats, yeah, to get through the day or two.
Right, right. All right, so let's go back to some misconceptions. What's the biggest misconception even Colorado natives have about our own state's history?
So I think one of the biggest misconceptions is that Colorado's history is all about mining and the gold rush and that's really, our heritage. And though it is a massive part of our heritage, there's so much more. Of course, we need to acknowledge the Native Americans that came before us, thousands of years before us. In fact, the Ute people here in Colorado Springs, their origin story is here at Pikes Peak. And just a shout out to Bancroft Park. There's a couple of wonderful historical markers there that talk about that story, the origin story, that were installed when they renovated the park a few years ago. So we need to go back, that far at least.
Right.
And then the other misconception, is there's no Eastern Colorado, that the plains don't exist, right? Kind of connecting that the mountains are all that are here in mining. But the reality is the Eastern plains are so amazing and rich with history. Without the Eastern plains, we wouldn't have had, the travel to the mountains via the railroad.
Yeah.
So I guess the biggest misconception, or I'll keep talking, is basically that there's only a western side to the state, and there are so many wonderful places, people, and experiences on the eastern plains, even up into the northeastern area, the Pawnee grasslands, that a lot of folks will never experience, even folks that have lived decades in Colorado. May not have even considered going out there or have experienced it. And I think that's an area to consider,
Right.
to
And
check out.
is that in the Forgotten series?
So I have, yes. So there, I've got Forgotten Colorado, Eastern Plains, Northern region, and Southern region. The Northern region and the Eastern Plains will contain the areas that I'm specifically talking about that tend to just get overlooked. Most of us, if we travel through Eastern Colorado, we're actually on our way through Kansas or
Right.
Nebraska to somewhere else because we don't want to stick around in Kansas probably. But so it's really just I-70 and getting out of Colorado, and you really have to get off the main highway.
Right. I-70 and also I-50 goes out to La Junta and Lamar, doesn't it?
I-50, I'm not familiar with.
You go
Off
down
the top
to
of my head.
Pueblo and then head east.
Gotcha. Yes, and so there will be places in that realm too that are in the book as well.
Yeah, I know you did a couple of posts fairly recently, past couple of months, on something I didn't even know about. But when I think of the fossils and dinosaurs, I think of the fluorescent fossil beds or, up in the mountains. And you brought to light, there's a whole like riverbed or something
Oh
east
yes,
with all
absolutely.
the, I'm like, what is this?
So the largest track of dinosaur footprints in North America is down near La Junta, over 1,000 tracks. I like to hike in cinnamon rolls and various pastries to see which are bigger, the footprints or the pastries. And every time, even if I go to places that have monster size page trees. The dinosaur footprints are larger. And you're right, it's along the Purgatoire River, is where you'll find those. And if you're able to make the hike in, it's a bucket list item. You will never forget the experience. There are so many historical spots along the way that the dinosaur tracks aren't even for me anymore the main draw, because there's so much
Really?
in terms of local history and so on. Don't get me wrong, still amazing. I don't want to make it sound like that is no big deal. It's still wow. But there are other things along the way. Um, and and so with that, I just want to mention a lot of folks may not know that the first oil well in the West was actually in Canyon City, and you have
Oh, really?
dinosaur quarries there, fossil fuels. So it's Colorado is a just massive place. I
Right.
shouldn't say that. Let me rephrase that. Colorado has a massive amount of dinosaur bones all
Right.
across
Right.
in footprints.
Right. And so that river, is there no water in it?
No, there's definitely water in it. It varies in depth. When I posted in September, it was pretty low. It was low enough that I could see river oysters, river clams.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is, if you're looking for dinosaur footprints and you can get there, what's the best time? Does the river cover it? The water cover it, or is it on the
It's a
banks?
So it's a great question. So I should also mention for those that may not want to or can't endure the 12 to 13 mile round trip hike in brutal sun, the Forest Service does offer a guided tour with your own vehicle. You just need to have a vehicle capable of driving, a dirt road with a little bit of clearance, but uh, I got sidetracked there telling you about how to get there if you can't hike.
Right,
The
because
best time to go,
it's not right off of the highway. You actually have to go in there.
it
You got
is,
to get
you are in a very remote location. Just to even get to the spot where you would drive in, is remote. And then hiking in, you're about 20 miles from a paved road,
there. Right.
once you get way back in there. So with that said, the worst time to go is when it's hot or when there's any kind of rain potential. Flash floods will occur. People have been injured. There has been a death in the past because of storms, and there is no shade, zero
Okay.
shade. So you've got to have tons of water and sun coverage, hat, and so on. So to mitigate that, I would say fall, like when I went in September or October would be a great time. Little cooler. I didn't run into anyone my
All
entire
right.
time out there, so it was fantastic.
So that's a little secret.
It
Shh,
is.
don't tell anybody that Heath
You
told you
know,
to go there over the
but
fall.
remember I said if a place is public and they can find the information elsewhere, I'm not gatekeeping. So September, October, I actually want to go when there's been snow. I would love to see it out there. If some snow were to happen to fall, that would be amazing. But the colder, the better. It's just
Right.
hot out
But
there.
you won't be able to see the tracks though if it had snow, right?
That is a good point, but because there are so many tracks, you might be able to dig some out and then, kind of have a cool landscape.
All
It
right.
just kind of depends.
Right. So if you're a tourist just looking for dinosaur tracks, not during the snow time,
Yeah,
if you're Heath and you want to make the pretty scenery and kind of dig out and all that kind of stuff, then you go in as snow.
that's right. Yeah. But to be clear, I haven't done that yet. So, I mean,
Right,
it's
right,
got to be a special situation with the weather. down
Right.
in Hunta. Yeah.
So then tell us more about the Colorado Springs book. What's in that and what can people expect?
Yeah, so the Colorado Springs book is broken up into 7 chapters. You've got about 80 plus different sites that are covered. And you're going to learn about places that are on the National Register of Historic Places, something we talked about previously. You're going to learn about some of the natural wonders of the area, going above and beyond Garden of the Gods
Right.
and Red
Tip,
Rock
tip, tip,
Canyon
tip.
Open Space, which are still amazing. Obviously, I've got kissing camels right here in my background.
Yes.
That never gets old in terms of Garden of the Gods. You're going to learn about the tuberculosis
Yeah, I've got it behind me.
situation
Not
here.
kissing camels, but I got Garden of the
You
Gods.
also, yep, you've got there. You're going to learn about some of the players and their role in Colorado Springs and where they lived as well. So it's going to be a hodgepodge. I've got a section on unique structures in
Yep.
Colorado Springs, such as the America's Best Public Bathroom 2020 down in Old Colorado City, that is completely electronic. It will talk to you, and it's self-cleaning and so on.
I could go in a million different directions. I'm gonna just
That's fair.
um yeah, we don't need anybody talking to us while we're I mean, how many of us are just can't do our business when somebody's talking anyway?
That's true. I should say it talks to you in terms of giving you the rules of the bathroom as you come in.
So
But
then
hopefully,
it's not, hey, what are you doing in here?
right, it's not saying you didn't wash your hands.
Right. Or it's not saying, so how was your day?
Right. That would be too much.
Got it.
But for the $300,000 price tag, I think it should have that option.
It should have, does it have bidets or anything?
No, not to
For
my
that price
knowledge.
tag, it should.
Well, yeah, it's just I think the end goal there was just to reduce the amount of staffed hours that a traditional bathroom would require. It's from my understanding, it's hooked up to an app. So when it's out of toilet paper or soap, it'll send
Okay.
a text message. So it's, cost savings in that way.
Oh, you're cracking me up. Here's an app. Boop. It's like Sheldon from the Big Bang Theory. It's your bathroom time.
Hmm. That's it.
Okay, we're not going. We're not going there. So if somebody just had, say they're visiting or they have visitors and they have, I don't know, just say about 48 hours to experience, let's just say Colorado Springs and close area, what through your eyes, where would you basically send them that, Google's great and everything, but you've got the boots on the ground, real insider information. What would you suggest they do in that 48-hour period?
And I have to stay around Colorado Springs, the 48 hours. So that may be, can we do two things? Can we go outside
Absolutely.
of this region
We
and
can
then we'll
do
come,
whatever you like.
because I was thinking I can go both realms, but let's say somebody wants to explore Colorado in a way that they probably have never done so, and maybe not even know about all the things that are available in this realm. And where I would send those individuals for 48 hours is in the northeast portion of Colorado, specifically Colorado State Highway 14. And I'll tell you why. Your adventure needs to start in Severance, Colorado. And many folks don't realize that Severance, Colorado has the nation's, supposedly nation, definitely the state's best Rocky Mountain oysters. So you can start there, fuel up, find yourself onto State Highway 14, and begin your way to the Pawnee National Grasslands. A lot of folks don't realize we have national grasslands out there. And once you're out there, hike the Pawnee Buttes. They're just amazing natural wonders just sitting out there in the grasslands that are often not seen even by folks that have lived their entire lives here in Colorado. From there, you want to hit Kyoto, and maybe I'll do a pop quiz for you. Have you ever read the book Centennial or watched the mini series in the 70s or the 80s?
I don't
Oh
think
man, did I just age us a little bit?
I
I
know.
shouldn't have
We're
even
about the same
assumed.
age.
Yeah,
Um, I don't think I have.
got you. So Centennial is the bicentennial book that really tells the story of Colorado. When folks think of Colorado from back in the 70s, 80s, possibly the early 90s, if you said Centennial, they knew that was the story about Colorado. And Kyoto, which is in the Pawnee grasslands off of that State Highway 14, that is where James Michener, he actually lived there while he was writing the book. And much of that book is based off of what he learned there in his interactions in Kyoto, Colorado. And so you can go up there and see the ghost town and, and better relate to one of the deeper histories of this state and the Dust Bowl and how it really impacted the area. So from Kyoto, you would keep on going through Raymer and then end up in Sterling. And a lot of folks may not know Sterling is along the Overland Trail, which was an important trail for pioneers that were actually traveling west. And
Oh,
so you
okay.
can experience seeing portions of the trail. You can visit the museum there, dig deeper. It's also the city of trees. The city has a bunch of carved trees by an artist
Oh,
with different designs, and that's kind of what their little signature thing is there. And so all of that and more is along just that stretch of Colorado State Highway 14 um, heading heading east.
and is that in all of that information in your Forgotten Colorado Northeast?
So some of the definitely Kyoto. In fact, Kyoto is on the cover of my northern region
Oh,
book for sure. Severance is in there, Sterling. So several of those places are.
okay.
But if you need additional info about them, certainly I've posted about all of those.
Right. I'm just wondering if somebody takes that advice, they buy your book, then at least they can flip through and they don't have to try and remember this
Yeah,
interview.
so
They
there's a
can,
map that will show these
okay,
places.
great.
Yeah, in there as well. Yeah, for sure. Yep.
Okay. And then any advice for somebody who's got 48 hours in Colorado Springs that may not want to just do your typical tourist?
Yeah. I'm gonna recommend this as long as I live.
Okay.
Uh, and I recommend this for locals too, because I'm local, didn't know this existed, and it's wild to me. And that is everyone should visit Glen Erie Castle,
Okay.
stay the night. And
Oh,
here's
wow.
here's the reason. Not only do you get to be, in the founder's castle, General Palmer's literal home, if you stay the night or engage in some other activity on the property, you can hike their private trails. And what most people don't know is the rock formations that are hidden from view behind, away from the castle, rival those at Garden of the Gods.
Oh, wow.
And I said that, you haven't recorded that the sandstone rock formations on the Glen Erie Castle property are just as beautiful, if not more so, than Garden of the Gods. And here's the kicker: you get them to yourself because
Right.
the only way you can access them is by attending an event or staying on the property. And I know that's gonna, ruffle some feathers. I don't want to pay to, this is
Right.
the reality is the navigators don't even need to allow us permission on their property.
Right.
They've spent millions of dollars to actually restore preserve and protect the castle, that property, I'm willing to pay $12 for a castle tour
Right.
or $150 to stay overnight to live and experience that kind of history and outdoors capability. So I think that has to be part of it.
Right.
The Glen Erie Castle and the trails that are on that private property.
Okay. Yeah, I
Both
haven't been there, but I did because I do trivia every Tuesday in the Colorado Springs Town Tidings, and I did do Glen Erie, and there were things that I didn't know, and it was like, huh, interesting. And it is tucked around there by Garden of the Gods anyway, right?
it is an extension of Garden of the Gods, and so you can't see it just from the road on your way to Garden of the Gods, and so that is absolutely a hidden gem.
Yeah. Well, that's great information. Thanks
So
for
we
sharing that. And then, kind of like my last question is there any Colorado mystery or legend that you're still looking to uncover at all? Or is it just as you hit places, things come up?
so I think a
Other
lot
than
of
Bigfoot, I know.
yeah, well, Bigfoot lives on Pikes Peak. I've already established that, so
Oh,
we're
you
good
did.
there.
Where's
Yeah,
the good picture, the non-blurry
I
one?
mean, check my Facebook page. No, but Pikes Peak has the Bigfoot crossing signs along the way. So yeah. It's not so much about mysteries as it is. I continue to gravitate towards the tuberculosis topic
Right.
in really uncovering as many sites and stories and things of that realm. That's kind of my side quest. But there's really, you've got me thinking now, what kind of lore legend do I need to latch onto that could be, a secondary purpose? But right now it's tuberculosis
A book
huts and
series. I see another one coming up.
right. Yeah. Sure. Let me just finish the first eight books before I think of others. Yeah.
Well, I can't wait to see what you come up with or what the future holds with all that you're doing. So, Heath, thank you for sharing your fascinating stories with us today. And is there anything that I may not have covered that you want to share?
Well, you let me off the hook with the 48 hours in the Pikes Peak region. I gave you Glen Erie and the hike, but some other places that I would recommend, really, exploring. And I know this is mainstream, but it needs to be said.
Okay.
And it's close to the Glen Erie Castle. If you're staying there or visiting, the Manitou Springs Arcade has to be the destination.
It's
It
still
has to be
it's under new ownership though.
and that's fine. But it still needs to be visited. And then while you're at the arcade, right across the street are two refurbished tuberculosis huts, and it's called the Totally Nuts Company. I don't know if I can throw their name out there. I'm not sponsored, although I'm
Right, right.
open to it.
I'm
But
familiar.
yeah, so you can see tuberculosis huts actually in use.
And get
Uh,
nuts from there.
and you can buy food from it. So, I would highly recommend that. Um, that's a good one as well. Visit the arcade, the Totally Nuts, and add those into your list. Would you like some more
You betcha.
places? What's that?
Sure.
All
You
right.
betcha.
If you have not driven all the way through Cheyenne Canyon,
Uh,
down Gold Camp Road, Lower Gold Camp Road, you're missing out because you've got Helen Hunt Falls. You have the historic Gold Camp tunnels that used to be the old railroad, and the views of Colorado Springs are unparalleled. Now, I know that's not such a hidden gem, but it's one of those things that if you haven't done it, really needs to be top of the list for all the various things that you see and can do.
right now that going on there, if you drive through it, do you have to pay or
No, and that's one of the
okay,
reasons I bring that up. It's free. You don't any car can do it, even though it's a dirt road. It's not, four-wheel drive only. But you get to see some of that natural beauty, a waterfall,
right.
and epic views of the springs for free without having to pay.
Right. So if you went and hiked, though, if you stopped and hiked, because I know Helen Hunt Falls you have to pay, and then also
Not
Cheyenne.
Helen Hunt Falls. That's free.
Oh, okay.
Are you thinking of Seven
Seven
Falls?
bridges or seven
Seven Falls.
seven falls. Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry. Yep.
That you do pay for.
Okay.
And and I know folks aren't gonna like to hear this. It's still worth every penny.
Yeah.
Go to Seven Falls. It's gorgeous. I mean, I get it. I get it. There's something that sears the soul, when you have to pay. But I'm here to tell you that some of these paid attractions, are worth it, especially when you look at how much money goes into the preservation
Right.
of the situation. And in the case of Seven Falls, millions of dollars had to be spent to fix it after the flooding and debris damage. And so it's really, did a good job restoring it. It's gorgeous. I'm not going to plug that anymore, but
Right. Right.
some of the attractions, Cave of the Winds,
Right.
is a great one, are worth the cost. Maybe don't go there 8 or 10 times, but
Right.
one and done, but definitely worth it.
We went there when we before we moved here. We did that tourist attraction, but I kind of like the cave aspect and the stalagmites and stalactites, and so that it was actually here, I definitely had to go and check it out.
Sure. Sure. And, to throw in another place that's relatively unknown, that's near Colorado Springs, especially for the outdoor folks, is a place called the Pineries, which is now an open space, and it's an 8-mile loop, and it's on a former historic, farm ranch situation, and gorgeous views of Pikes Peak. And it's a relatively lesser known on that front.
And where's that one located?
So that's going to be up in the northeast quadrant, so Black Forest, um, Peyton type
Yep.
area, not too far.
Right.
In fact, do I need to profile that one? Do we need to do the Pineries?
Sure. I'll take that. I still
Yes.
need one for tomorrow.
All right, so I'll get right out there
There you
after
go.
this to do that. But the Pineries is a good one, and there's just just south on Colorado 115. You've got the Aiken, and now all of a sudden my brain is losing it,
Oh,
but
that's
it's
okay. Yeah.
it's the Aiken open space, and I'll have to get you but that's like a sanctuary. And so you go out there, you've got especially if you're into birding, but there's a lot of history there. There's some old remnants of a cabin. So
Oh,
you get
well.
the best of both worlds. So we do have quite a few lesser known places pretty close to Colorado Springs. It would be worth the time to explore.
Yeah. Great. And how can people, if they're interested in finding out more about you or your amazing adventures, how can they contact you
So
and find you?
you've got to cut, yeah, if you want to, no force. You can contact me through Facebook. You can direct message me that way. You can get me through the website, coloradofanclub.com. There's a feedback form or an email form. You can, uh, my phone number is probably on the Facebook page if you need to reach out that way.
Yep.
But your best bet's through the website or Facebook.
Yep. And Facebook is just Colorado Fan Club. That's the handle.
That's it. Colorado Fan Club. That's it.
Okay. Well, again, thank you. I love hearing these origin stories and all of your adventures. And this is exactly why I believe that every local business has a story worth telling. And yours reminds us that Colorado's best adventures are often hiding right in plain sight. And to explore Heath's discoveries and connect with Colorado Fan Club, as we said, you can visit coloradofanclub.com, coloradofanclub.com, and follow his adventures on Facebook with 52,000 other people, Colorado enthusiasts. And if you want to stay in the know about more amazing local businesses like Heath, subscribe to Colorado Springs Town Tidings at cos.towntidings.com. I'm Sandy Zuniga, celebrating our city one business at a time, and I'll see you next week. Thank you, Heath.
Thank you.